November. Ms. Hawthorne, will you call the roll?
Yes. Mr. Graves,
Present.
Mrs. Seligson. Present. Ms. Lawson.
Here.
Mrs. Curry,
Here.
Mr. Belmont,
Here.
Mrs. Scott,
Here.
Mr. Patterson,
Present.
Dr. Hildebrand,
Here.
Mr. Howells,
Here.
Ms. Glasser.
Present. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence as we express our condolences to the family of Leslie McDonough, assistant principal at the Edgewood School, on the passing of her grandfather, Mr. Robert Craftsman. Thank you. I'm in need of a motion to accept the minutes from the October agenda setting meeting. Is there?
Second.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions, additions, or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, we'll take the vote.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously. I'm in need of a motion to accept the October legislative meeting minutes. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions, additions, or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, we'll take the vote.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously. The board met in executive session immediately preceding this meeting to discuss personnel matters as permitted, personnel and legal matters as permitted by Pennsylvania state law. Mr. Harris, are there announcements?
There's three. Children's Grief Awareness Day, Educate, Equip, Honor. Please join the Woodland Hills School District as we acknowledge Children's Grief Awareness Day tomorrow, Thursday, November 18th, 2021, by wearing blue to support children who are grieving. The purpose of Children's Grief Awareness Day is to call attention to the issue of children's grief, not to any particular child or children who have suffered a loss. According to the Coalition to Support Grieving Students, 1 in 14 children will lose a parent or sibling by the time they reach the age of 18. The Woodland Hills School District, in collaboration with the Black Equity Coalition Holiday Health Fair, will be Saturday, December 11th at the Administration Center here at Fairless, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Please go to our website for more information. I have good news to deliver this week. Over the last few years, Dr. Conti and Chief Wooten from the Rankin Police Department and I have been attempting to do a gun buyback program in the community. We were made aware the other day that with the help of Senator Jay Costa, who's been a great district friend, we've secured money to do that. We will be having the buyback event at Emmanuel Baptist Church, where the chief, along with his staff, and some other law enforcement folks will be on hand to collect weapons and get them out of the hands of people in the community. More information will be to follow.
Okay, any other announcements? I have one. I was notified today that our own Dee Scales, who is a paraprofessional in the district, has been recognized by the State ESP Association through the PSCA, their union. So we want to congratulate her on that recognition. I understand she'll be recognized formally in December. So congratulations to Ms. Scales on that honor. Okay, any other announcements? Okay, seeing none, that moves us to, sorry?
We did miss Principal Weber passing.
Oh, you are correct. I apologize. We failed to recognize the passing of Howard Weber during the moment of silence. So would everyone please stand again so we can honor him? We acknowledge the passing of Howard K. Weber, who was principal at Woodland Hills High School. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Graves. That will move us to presentations. We have with us this evening our high school librarian, Mr. Kevin McGuire, who is here to update us on the library cards for all program. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'll share the presentation here. I did. Okay. Is it going to delay? Okay. Oh, no. So my name's Kevin. I am the librarian in high school. I've been in this 2011, and I'm excited to on this project. So probably know we've been working for a long time. Since feels like almost a decade. Partnering with the local libraries in our community to give all of our students full access public library cards. So Woodland Hills is unique in so many ways. One of the ways we're most unique is that we actually have 4 libraries in our district. Some schools don't have any. Some schools just have one. We have Braddock Carnegie Library, which of course is down the street from us here, and it was actually the first library that Andrew Carnegie built in the United States. So that's a really important piece of history for our district. C.C. Mellon Memorial Library, which has the branch in Edgewood and also in Forest Hills. The Carnegie Free Library of Cicero, which you all know, they're board. So we worked with all of these libraries and the Allegheny County Library Association to bring every one of our students, a full access public library card. So the program highlights, and these are some from Edgewood here, use their new library cards, is that this kind of was born out of the desire to strengthen our community partnerships, and specifically those with our libraries, since they service and have programs that specifically service our students. So I'm pleased to announce that if we haven't heard it yet, we're the first district in the state to do this. So this is totally huge for us. And the full access card, what does that look like? Well, first of all, it's a lifetime card. The students will have that card the rest of their lives. It can be used in all 74 locations in Allegheny County, so no matter where they go, and also where their studies take them in the future, they'll be able to use that. And their card is completely defines another obligation. So the director at C.C. Miller, Erin Pierce, she worked really hard to make sure that any student that got a card, regardless of maybe an obligation they had years ago, completely wiped away. And there's also funding available do that for our students because at this point we're putting in new enrollments. I just set some new kids to the high school. They already got their cards. And each year's new pre-K and kindergarten classes. So every year we'll kind of update the rules, make sure that we have all of those students. And we give them a library card. So here's a picture Principal Mans took from the day we had a big giveaway at the high school. And then we had a party, which was really fun in this classroom. And Miss Scott were there. It was a good time. We just got to celebrate the idea of this monumental occasion. And we had some prizes to give away, some activities and things like that. We got some really good press. There was a blurb on WPXI and an article in the Trib. And forthcoming, there's going to be a feature in the Post-Gazette. So we're really excited about that. So what's next? Well, I'm pleased to talk about the duration of these partnerships because we are actually looking to partner with the libraries to do more outreach, having those libraries come into our school libraries and teach the students and teach our teachers and our librarians how they can actually use these resources. So this is something over the next 2 years is really the strong partnership where we'll have in our school library programs all of these initiatives in terms of how you can use that part. And we're also working on right now to make our buildings future drop-off and pickup locations for the library. So the library user, you can request something and say, oh, I want it to go to Seasonal in Edgewood, or I want it to go to the Braddock Carnegie Library, and then you go and pick it up. Well, for our students, we're trying to have all of our buildings be a site which items can be requested to. So students could come into my library at the high school and pick up what they requested through the Carnegie system, return their items to me, and just keep the process going. Because this is all about access. The cards are making sure that they have access to that and access to the materials as well. So does anyone have any questions about the card project or anything at all? I'm up here. I have a video that I'll show you if I may. I don't know if the sound's going to work. We'll see. The video says it more eloquently than I can, even though it is my own voice. So figure that out. That was a joke. So okay.
The Woodland Hills School District is proud to partner with the public libraries that serve our students for the library cards.
It looks good though. Basically what I'm saying here is that we're working with libraries and everyone's getting a library card. So we won't have to listen to that sound. But it's on the website and it's playing games. I didn't mean to do that. My daughter was in it, so I wanted to show that because so that's that. So thank you for your support of this project and our school libraries. Looking forward to
our students can now
thanks so much for your time.
digital and physical.
Mr. McGuire, thank you for the work on that project. How much it took. And, congratulations on being the first in the state to do that. That's a major accomplishment. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so that will move us to registered speakers. We have a number of registered speakers this evening. Speakers are reminded that they have 2 minutes in which to speak, should give their name, address, and affiliation with the district if there is such an affiliation, and also are reminded that disparaging comments toward board or district personnel will not be tolerated and is not permitted. So with that, the first registered speaker that we have is Ms. Brandy Fisher. Good evening, Ms. Fisher. Thank you for being here.
Good evening. My name is Brandy Fisher. I am the president and CEO of the Alliance for Police Accountability. The Alliance for Police Accountability is an organization that's focused on criminal justice reconstruction, education, and school discipline falls into that category. We did a lot of work in Woodland Hills in 2015, 2017 in response to the way children were being treated here. We also did some elections of school board members. And so we've been very involved. Excuse me, I'm a little out of breath. That's why I knew y'all were gonna call on me because I wasn't ready to speak. But we've been very involved with the school district. And when we do our work, we don't like to leave it be, right? We're focused on root causes and systems changes and really on children's lives, in particular, Black children and children who are disabled. And so, it was brought to our attention of the superintendent's termination today. And first, what I would just like to say, in case my time gets cut short, is that the process, I would like to speak to the process that took place, because a lot of people that I called, parents in particular, we have a large base out here, our organization does. We did a lot of canvassing and door knocking, did not know that this was taking place. And I think something of such a great decision should be done with care and consideration and mindfulness, especially of the people who are impacted by it. Whether you think it's a good or a bad thing, it should be inclusive and people should just have knowledge of what is happening. And so I would just wanted to speak to that process and hope going forward that you would consider the parents who you want to be engaged here, because that breeds like this trust, when they're not communicated with or engaged, but then we say we want them engaged in every other process within the district. And so that would be my main thing that I wanted to say. And I really am here to find out the facts of the situation of the termination, why it is moving so swiftly, and offer our organization here to continue to work with you because of the ongoing issues that arose out of the news of this possible termination tonight, and the many concerns that we've heard from parents concerning the school board itself, your decision-making processes, and many aspects in hiring. And so we would like to continue this conversation and this work with you after tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fisher. Kathy Elliott? Ms. Elliott here or on the call?
Is she Gwen's girl?
She's under.
Gwen's Girls?
She's under.
Gwen's Girls,
yeah.
I believe. Yep.
Yeah, it's not letting me unmute or stop my video. Thank you. All right, I'll just go ahead and start I'm trying to start my video and it's not allowing me to. But I'm Kathy Elliott. I'm the CEO of Gwen's Girls and I'm the convener of the Black Girls Equity Alliance. I'm here speaking on behalf of Gwen's Girls and a few members of BGEA. This surprising news about the termination of Mr. Harris's contract came so quickly that we weren't able to have time to properly convene all the members of BGEA to gather a joint statement. That leads to my first point, due process. Obviously, you have the power and authority to make the vote to terminate Mr. Harris's contract. However, where is the opportunity and the transparency to share with your students, parents, teachers, the community partners, the basis of your decision? I'm going to get to the points that you all are aware of the great progress that has been made by you, the district, under Mr. Harris's leadership. But first, I want to say that I believe the foundation of the progress that has been made has been due to the district's willingness to collaborate with community partners in the most transparent way. Don't stop that now. Unless there has been an egregious infraction, at minimum, the people, the community that you serve should have an opportunity to have input regarding this crucial decision. Is this truly necessary at this time? Our children, teachers, administrators, all of us have been through and are going through enough upheaval and change. Is right now truly necessary for this vote today? Before Superintendent Harris came to Woodland Hills, arrests and juvenile system referrals rates from Woodland Hills School were among the highest in the state. Currently, as you may know, in Allegheny County, Black boys are referred to the juvenile justice system at 7 times the rate of white boys and Black girls 10 times the rate of white girls. That's due, so the change that has happened has led to this decrease coming from Woodland Hills School District. And that's due to Mr. Harris and the team and administrators under his leadership. We know the district is concerned about the fighting that has occurred this year, as we all know, and the response that has particularly happened. We know that such fighting has increased in most school districts, and the response to trauma and disruption from COVID-19 is something that we all need to be on board to address. But to simply take this opportunity to terminate Mr. Harris's contract is egregious at this point. Through policy and practice changes, even through opposition, Superintendent Harris has remained committed to treating all Woodland Hills students the way that he would treat his own children. And this is the approach that we believe all education leaders should adopt. We encourage you to trust this competent, passionate leader to continue the important work that has begun, which has made Woodland Hills a model for surrounding districts. Thank you.
Thank you, Elliott. Dr. Hughley.
Hello, everyone. My name is James Hughley. I am a professor at Pitt. I am the lead on the Just Discipline Project. And I'm a lead on the Pittsburgh Studies Middle Child Cohort from Children's Hospital. I echo what's already been said by the first two speakers, particularly as it pertains to Mr. Harris's approach in the district. And I want to make just 2 additional points. The first involves the bottom line, which is student achievement. When Mr. Harris arrived in 2018, across the 5 mainstream schools in this district, math and ELA achievement were down in 8 of 12 indicators. In his first year, 6 of those negative trends were reversed. The 4 positive trends were maintained. ELA and math were up district-wide. Our report card was increasing, which looks good for the state and for people on Zillow. I want to make my second point. After that, we had a global pandemic. And as Dr. Elliott just said, issues of violence and fighting are up everywhere. It's not unique to Woodland Hills. To fire Mr. Harris for something that's happening everywhere is short-sighted, especially given where we were going before the pandemic. We already know that we all care about security, we all care about achievement, but we also know just from the facts, high police presence, harsh discipline, they don't work for student achievement, and we've been there before in this district. We were on the upswing. We need to weather this storm and get back to the direction that we were going in. And I think that happens under the leadership of Mr. Harris as it was going before. So I'm here to offer strong support in our continued partnership, which has been very meaningful to the district and to the kids and teachers and leaders. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hughley. Christy Troutman. Okay, I don't believe we have Ms. Troutman. Kareem Sarvis.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I apologize.
apologies, Mr. Sarvis.
Thank you. I was having trouble unmuting. I am not able to turn on my video. Should I proceed?
Yes, please.
Okay. My name is Christy Troutman. I am Executive Director of FISA Foundation, 535 Smithfield Street, Pittsburgh 15222. For the last 5 years, FISA has been a funder and active participant in the Black Girls Equity Alliance's work to address school policing. I do not know what is behind the sudden news about potential termination of Dr. Harris's contract, so I am speaking tonight in support of Dr. Harris's efforts to limit the role of police at Woodland Hills. I believe 2 things. First, schools should be safe. Second, discipline is incredibly important to shaping children's behavior and teaching appropriate conduct. We have gotten used to a high level of involvement of police in schools, far beyond that of other communities. Schools in Pennsylvania are overusing police for disciplinary matters. Pennsylvania has the 3rd highest student arrest rate in the nation, and Allegheny County schools send twice as many students into the justice system as Philadelphia. Increased presence of police in schools harms children of color and children with disabilities who are disproportionately criminalized when problematic behaviors are referred to the police instead of school administrators. Student fights are not unusual, as other speakers have said. They need to be addressed swiftly. But police interaction with students has long-term consequences. A record of arrest or citation can interfere with post-secondary education, employment, and increases the likelihood of later incarceration. Dr. Harris has been held up as a model for realigning school safety around discipline rather than policing, which is better for our students. It is the harder road, intervening in problematic behavior, sorting out what happened and why, imposing consequences that make sense, and keeping students engaged in education, but it's better for kids. Please do not act in haste tonight, but give this process its due time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Troutman. Mr. Sarvis.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, my name is Kareem Sarvis. I represent Woodland Hills Midget Football Association. We have been providing youth football in this community for over 30 years. And I have been on the board with Woodland Hills Midget Football for the past 5 years. And what I have witnessed from Mr. Harris is he has been very involved with our program. You know, in the past years, the superintendents, some people on the school board, they really wasn't too much involved with the midget programs. Coach Novak was, but since Mr. Harris been here, I have seen him myself personally come to the intermediate field where we practice, the old West Junior High School in Swissvale, every year, come up to the field, talk to the kids, talk to the board members, talk to the coaches. And over the previous years, I've actually seen him at our football games. I come out the concession stand, a couple weeks ago, and I look at the corner, Mr. Harris, he's standing there watching the game, talking to parents, talking to kids, being involved in the community. You know, our past superintendent that we had on the weekends, he was in Johnstown. He wasn't here in Woodland Hills, taking a look at the kids being active in youth sports. You know, on another note, he invited all the coaches to come to the schools this year, to be involved with the teachers, the academics. He pled with us to let us know we need y'all in the schools to help. You know, we never had that before in the past. It was basically like a gap. But since Mr. Harris been here, he's bridging the gap. And the coaches are very excited that the superintendent invited them to come to the schools to check on the kids. And we actually got that offer 3 years ago from Propel. And we was actually shocked. We're like, Propel's offering for our coaches to come to their schools to talk to the kids, walk through the hallways. There was times we would get phone calls at 11 o'clock in the morning from Propel Bread Out Kills from teachers because there was kids that were out of control, not listening. They would give us a separate room and we give us 10 minutes to talk to a kid, and we get that kid back on track and back into the classroom. You know, Mr. Harris bringing that same idea to us. We didn't ask him, he bring that idea to us. And our coaches has accepted, and a few of our coaches have been in the schools this year visiting the students. And they're going to continue to do that going forward. You know, so I just wanted to express that and just let y'all know, if y'all vote tonight to remove this great man, this great leader, you're making a bad decision, a real bad decision. And a lot of people in the community, they're upset about it. We have over 200 kids, 400 parents on our program, and they're very upset about it. And everybody in the community doesn't know what's going on right now. So if we got to make a decision like this right now, I think it's a bad look for Woodland Hills. That's all I had to say. Good night. I got to get back to practice. The kids are getting ready for a tournament this weekend. See you later.
Thank you.
William Abramovic.
How you doing? My name is William Abramovic. I'm a coach for Woodland Hills. I was there when Novak was there. I've been here for about 15 years. My son plays for Toledo. He's one of the stars of Toledo football. He graduated from Woodland Hills High School along with my other sons. What I want to say is, this man don't want me to say this, but I'm the community leader for football. I play thing for UPMC. I help these kids get scholarships. I have 440 some kids involved in my thing. I teach professionals for the Steelers. A lot of people know me. I became a coach for Woodland Hills this year, a full-time coach, because this man found out that I was the one inviting the kids down to UPMC to learn the Steelers, how to train, how to go to college. My son was a victim of this same board. A couple of people I see here a couple of years ago, they had a class that they offered, and they made me pay $500 for it. This woman right here, her son was a victim the very next year. There were counselors here who actually had my son take this class, and they didn't count for nothing. He didn't go to college until a year later. He was the star of Woodland Hill High School football team. A couple weeks ago, they tell us the man from Peters Township who let the kids come out in blackface, like, we're going through some of the most unbelievable racism that I've ever seen. I've been in this stuff for a long time. My nephew plays in the pros. I've had a coach tell me to shut up, black man, and coach or play. Told our players this year. We've had referees call our players names you don't want me to hear. I never knew this happened. So now this man who came to me and had my program come near, if you look on your website, we were the ones that had the 7-on-7. This man came to me, I did that in 7 days. There was about 40,000 views, which made the team, the people who put the TV on come because they were with us for football. So now he's being attacked. Meanwhile, as a black coach this year, I've went through more racism than I went through my whole 52 years of living. In my whole life, I see some of the people here that in 2017 fought for Bob Johnson. Meanwhile, kids were getting killed in Woodland Hills in 2017. My son, who plays college football, has 3 people's names on his arm that got murdered while he was here. to show himself that he wanted to stay in college and not come back here. Some of y'all are the same ones that was here then. So when this man come, y'all had 30 years to mess it up. You give him 3 years to try to clean it up. He just started working with me to get black tutors, to get black men for free. I rode 20-something kids this year because we didn't have activity buses. So kids that play for Woodland Hills High School have to walk from Swissvale to the field and back. This man came up to himself. Guess what they told him? They don't have buses. I was here with Novak. Anything Novak said, they got immediately. So you handcuff this man, bring him from somewhere else. No, he don't know nobody here. When he finally starts learning the black people to get along here, to make it better, now all of a sudden, it's him. I was surrounded at the Penn Hills game a couple weeks ago by police staring at my young black kids coming out to work out. We had nothing to do with that. Y'all let the board, let them go on TV and say, our kids have something to do with it. 2 Central Catholic kids been killed in the last 2 years. I don't see their superintendent on TV. It went from killing to fighting. So this man got us down to fighting. He tried to bring black mentors in the school this year. It was shot down. So you're going to sit here and handcuff him and then say, you care about our kids. I am on record 10 years ago as saying, Mr. Belmont should have been out of here. The relics in this school hate progress. If we do not help these kids, and it's not nobody else's fault, this board been doing this for 20 years. So he comes and tries to change it. You don't ask no black people. I didn't see an emergency meeting when they came marching out in blackface, and I had to tell my kids why these kids was coming out and no grown-up said nothing. None of y'all said nothing. It wasn't all over the news. So that wasn't as important as a little fight. That one person got punched in the nose. Then y'all said it was the football team. It wasn't. The 2 dudes that was fighting was off the football team before the team started. I resigned because I had black coaches' wives could not even park in the parking lot. They were turned away. This man came and got me and wouldn't ask the people, why you keep turning them away? Meanwhile, every white coach we got had two things.
You have about 30 seconds to wrap
It's
up.
all good. What I'm saying is, you were here when the murders, when the school was horrible. You don't take any responsibility. It's his fault, huh? You just got a man that you handcuffed, brought him here, knew he didn't know anybody in the community because you want power again. This is a new day. Stop sitting here acting like what you're doing was good 10 years ago. Not one player out of 20-something to play pro come back to visit this school ever. None of y'all know none of them. Miles Sanders on. Because they don't want nothing to do with this. So I'm done. And if he's gone, I'm taking everything that I got and I'm leaving too. This is all racism. It has nothing to do with what he did. And I'm tired of it. I've been here 15 years. Y'all wore me down. I don't have no more to give. None. So take that.
Thank you.
Always some clown stuff up here.
Terrence Sheffie?
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Terrence Sheffie. I live in the school district on Decatur Street. I'm a parent. And so I'm also a behavior specialist. And one of the things that I look at is that you never take a superintendent in the middle of the school year and get rid of him. That's inappropriate. It affects not just the school, it affects the kids, it affects the parents. And all you're doing is re-traumatizing the same situation. If you are dissatisfied, you wait till the end of the school year. Then you sit down. It's inappropriate. It's not gonna help anything. And it shows everybody else that we have no idea what we're doing here. So what I ask you all, if you're trying to get rid of him, what is your plan? What do you expect to do? And who's gonna lead the school? Can y'all answer that?
We can't answer questions or public comment.
I'm just giving it to you straight. What are you going to do and how are you going to lead this school? And what plan do you have in progress if he's not going to be here? It also affects your faculty too. It makes them unsure of what's going on. Now, I know everybody has an uneasy feeling about different things. Put yourself in the staff position, in the parents' position, in the student positions of not knowing what's going on in this district. Thank you.
Tiffany Jennings? I take it Ms. Jennings is not in the room. Is she on the call? Okay. All right. Thank you.
Ms. Glasser,
Yes, Mr. Graves.
there's Ms. Brown has several letters she wants to read.
5 support letters, letters of support on behalf of Mr. Harris.
Okay.
That he wants.
We'll note them for the record, make sure the board has copies of those. I don't think we need to read them all.
Okay.
If you want, do you want to have a list of who they're from? We can note who they are from.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to read out the names of the signatories so that we know that they're there?
We have a letter of support from Bree Boyd, who is a 10th grade student at the high school. We also have one from Dr. Elizabeth Miller from the UPMC Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh. And from Dr. Shannon Wanless from the University of Pittsburgh, and Ms. Shalegra Moy, the Executive Director of Brilliantly Blessed Community Health and Wellness.
Okay, I'll note for the record that the board received the letters from Dr. Miller and from Dr. Shannon, sorry.
Moy.
Dr.
Shannon.
Shalegra Moy and Shannon Waldress.
Okay.
By email today. So we've had a chance to review those.
Okay, and also from Dr. Christina Pert, the principal of Dixon.
We received that by email as well.
Okay, and Miss Caitlin Spear from Caitlin Forbes from Pitt.
We received Dr. Forbes Spear's letter as well.
Okay.
So the only one of those letters that we have not yet seen is from Miss Boyd. Why don't we go ahead and read that?
Sure. Hi, my name is Bree Boyd, and I am the 10th grade class president at the high school. Through all of this drama in the recent months, I've noticed the constant slander of Mr. Harris's name, and I just think it isn't right. From the time Mr. Harris started to now, I can see that he has always been all about us as students and would never want to put any of us in any kind of trouble. Before Mr. Harris, I barely even knew the superintendent, but ever since he started, he has made the effort to connect with us as students and form bonds. For example, a month or so ago, I and 10 other students were able to meet with him personally to discuss a new dress code. And he was very willing to listen and compromise with us about some changes that should be made. I even can think back to when I was in middle school and we had held a student versus staff basketball game. This was the first game I had ever seen staff members, including himself, from administration play. And this was all because he wanted to be involved with us, not just because he had to. I also recall seeing Mr. Harris at almost all of the football games, along with other events we have hosted. Most schools, you don't even see the superintendent at assemblies, but ours goes above and beyond and makes sure he's there to support us wherever it's needed. Whether you know his name from good news or bad news, it all means the same. It truly shows that he is out there in our community, helping to put our school in the best light it can be. Thank you, Bree Boyd.
Thank you. Thank you to all those who sent letters in that regard. Okay. That would move us to board matters unless there's other thoughts by the board.
Is there any way we could move public comment up? to
Certainly,
now
if you want to make
so
a
we can
motion,
Hear what other individuals might have to say?
certainly. Are you making that motion, Mr. Graves?
Make the motion that we move public comment up.
Okay. Is there any-
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Mr. Graves and a second from Mr. Belmont to move public comment to this point in the meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, hearing none. If there's anyone who wishes to address the board at this time, please use the raise hand function if you are on the Zoom. If you're in the room, please feel free to approach the podium. Same rules apply. Please give your name, address, affiliation with the district. And if you are limited to 2 minutes, and comments that disparage the board or administration by name will not be tolerated. Thank you for being here. Please do identify
I
yourself.
thought he had somebody on the screen. That's fine. Yep. No problem. My name is Dawn Gold. I am a parent of a child at Turtle Creek. I've come here to speak on behalf of the egregious act that was shortly lived and learned earlier today about removing Mr. Harris. I do not understand how you've come to the conclusion that terminating this man would be beneficial for the district. You would take the little bit of power that you have within your grasp to defame his character and place an egregious stain on this district for your own juvenile mentality. We must ask ourselves, why would you terminate a man that has increased student attendance, empowered our children of all ages and races to excel, and has the highest amount of money in scholarships within the district's history within his tenure? I am sure that there is so much more that he has done, but this is surely only a few that I know by hand. However, due to a fight that none of you would have been able to handle the aftermath, a fight that we as a district are not holding our parents accountable, but your focus is to take him down. Why are we not holding the parents responsible? Why? Given the flux of information and the process of an ongoing investigation, he handled it with class. He was thrown into the camera, the microphones, and you hold him responsible for his responses, for information that was being thrown at him. Could you have handled it differently? How will you handle this district if you remove him? Who's taking that job? Are you sitting in front of the cameras? Every single incident that has happened at this school, you proudly stand behind Woodland Hills when he does something great. You want to applaud him. I think you did about 3 weeks ago. But a fight occurred between children. And instead of them shooting one another, they used their hands, something that a lot of us in this room did when we were in high school. I don't understand how a fight that we can all agree was sad within itself, but we compound that with the removal of the only advocate that many of our children in the district have had in their entire lives, not just in school. Mr. Harris has provided an environment of inclusion for all, staff, parents, and students alike. We must also ask ourselves why the urgency to dismiss him so abruptly and without just due. Why is that? Ask yourselves. This feels wildly as a personal attack on a man who has led our district with dignity and honor. I implore you to use your power for good, for all of our children, and not abuse the power given to you by the very people that you sit before today in disdain. Keep James Harris as the superintendent of Woodland Hills School District and give him your support, not your foolishness. Allow him to continue to lead our district proudly. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gold. Am I seeing Sarah Murphy? Sarah Murphy, if you can unmute.
Yes, I'm super emotional right now. Partly because I grew up in this district and
Sorry, Ms. Murphy, can you get your affiliation with the district, please?
I'm sorry, my name is Sarah Murphy. I'm at 1446 Grandview Avenue, and I grew up in this district, but I've also worked in programs. I worked at JLC Daycare, in an after-school program with Woodland Hills students. I also have a family member that has a program called Naomi's House. So I've worked with children in that capacity as well. So I'm really trying to understand how we remove the representation that matters, because representation matters here. Like, kids need to see people that look like them. The reason why a lot of male children have so many problems in school is because there are so many females there and a lack of men. And so to have a district that's full of young Black males and remove the only one that gets out into the community and interacts with us is completely insane. And I really want to mirror what some of the other people said, that from this side of it, it looks like racism. It doesn't look like he's going because he failed at his job. Because if we want to look at fights, we could turn on the news right now and look at adults fighting about mask mandates, vaccines, and everything else. But we think that that did not impact our students. We're constantly arguing about political crap, but we think that that does not impact our children. But then we put the blame on the man that's trying to help the situation. I don't understand. As a person who's worked with children, I'm 48 years old. I've worked with children in this district since I was 15. I had my clearances. I worked in a foster home. I've been in this district my whole entire life. So to see something like this happen, to me, it seems like you also want the rest of us parents to leave with Mr. Harris, because I can't see how our interests are going to be served or have representation that matters for us if Mr. Harris is gone. I don't see that this is because of his job performance, because so many people spoke of how the numbers don't lie. He's made an impact in the district. So if you remove him, it seems kind of personal and not because of job performance.
Thank you. I can't read that name, Mr. Wilson, I'm sorry. Natalie Cost Watson.
I'm just trying to pull up my video.
I don't think you can turn your video on.
Okay, that's fine. Hi, my name is Natalie Watson. I'm at 1272 Britton Road. I have 3 children at Woodland Hills. One is at Dixon and the other 2 are at Edgewood. My oldest is autistic and special needs. I want to say that I don't feel that this is about a fight. I think that it's been very clear that Dr. Harris has called our children predators. He has tripled down on that. I believe, from what I have seen and heard with my own ears and eyes, that he has misled the community, that he has misled the media, that he has grossly lied about things he saw with his own eyes. He has said that children were not injured, and they were. He has taken his time and on our taxpayer dime to promote his own political interests. And I think he's really snowed a bunch of people in the community. One of my sons is on the community football team that was saying that a lot of parents are upset that this is happening. I'm very glad that it's happening. I think this conversation has needed to happen for a while. I think that COVID sort of allowed all of us to think that things were going just fine because there were educators that Mr. Harris is being given credit for what they have done. Because numbers have changed, it doesn't necessarily mean that is because of our superintendent. It's because we have amazing educators, and I'm really glad they're getting a contract tonight. We have wonderful principal heads who have been thrown to the wolves and allowed to flounder because he's too busy covering his own butt. And I'm very disappointed that this isn't being communicated. And I really hope that the board is legally able to give more information about the depth and the scope of why this removal has been put on the agenda, because this isn't about one fight. If this was about one fight, that would be absolutely ridiculous. This is about ongoing systemic issues with the superintendent. Thank you.
Thank you. Tara Reese.
Tara Reese, Garden Terrace, and Churchill. My affiliation to the district. Well, I'm a graduate. Our two children are proud graduates of Woodland Hills, class of 18 and 19 respectively. I guess I'll just repeat what I put in an email to the 3 board members who were at their last meeting tonight. I can't speak to Mr. Harris. I can't speak to his achievements or his deficiencies because, like I said, I haven't been a Woodland Hills parent for 2.5 years. Still a resident, but I haven't been a parent intimately involved. And I left the school board over 4 years ago. But to pull this vote at your last meeting with no transparency and no clear reason for it, it just makes this school board look suspect again. Aren't you tired of Woodland Hills being in the news on such a regular basis for negative reasons? I know I am, because I live here still, and I'm still paying taxes here. And I have to ride the bus to my job at Pitt every day and hear from my fellow busmates, oh, did you see Woodland Hills is in the news again? Because they don't live here, I do. So for you to pull this at your last meeting, the 3 of you who are at your last meeting, sorry, you have no business doing something like this with no turnaround, no opportunity for people to register to speak and show up. Yes, you moved up public comment, big deal. You shouldn't be doing this with no notice. This was not on the agenda last week. And if something so egregious happened in the last week to force you to do this, you need to be a little bit more transparent. Otherwise, people are going to continue to question what you do and what I know you've been doing for years.
Thank you, Ms. Reese.
Yeah.
Reverend Wingfield.
Good evening. I have come on to add my support for Mr. Harris. I found out about this morning as I turned on the news, and I was tremendously shocked to hear what is transpiring within this school district. I do pastor the Unity Baptist Church on 4th Street in Braddock. I have several children who have graduated within our congregation who have graduated from the Woodland Hills High School. And I'm disappointed in what has taken place. Since he has come into this district, Mr. Harris has worked diligently with our church to seek to make a difference within the community. Again, he is there. My experience with the previous superintendent was not like this one. And I want to just basically say that you don't know how you would handle a response that has taken place, such as the fight. I think somebody made it very clear with respect to holding children or holding parents responsible for what has taken place. But I want to add my support, and I'm disappointed in what this board is trying to do. And I trust that this board will rethink and do the right thing and keep Mr. Harris on as a superintendent. Again, I speak to Mr. Harris personally right now and just say, my brother, you have my support and you have the support of the Unity Baptist Church of Braddock. Thank you.
Thank you. Iwani Nanji. Mr. Nanji?
Hello?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm Iwani Nanji, North Braddock. I'm head coach of the 7 and 8-year-olds for Woodland Hills. And I'm calling in support of Mr. James Harris. I've been coaching for more than 10 years and working with the kids in our school district. And he's the first superintendent that I was ever able to get on the phone and speak to and actually have some help with dealing with some of the children and some of the problems that we have, that they have. Now, we support them and we help them on a daily basis. And Mr. Harris is very supportful, and I'm very happy about the things he's doing in the district. And as far as fighting, as a parent who has had a child who has fought and has been suspended, I want to say that the fighting most of it has nothing to do with Mr. Harris. Children fight, adults fight, and I don't think that he should be removed for people fighting. The kids have been locked up in COVID for many months. They're coming back to the school. They're interacting again. Fighting is something that happens. It's been happening since I was in high school, and it will continue to happen. So I'm calling to show my support for Mr. Harris because he's helping these children. He's helping us help the children, and he's doing a great job for Woodland Hills School District.
I think it says Brittany Brown. Is that correct? Brittany Brown?
Yes, that's correct.
Good evening.
Hello, my name is, good evening. Hello, my name is Brittany Brown, and I'm a parent of Woodland Hills School District. I live in Forest Hills. I have a son in the high school as well as Wilkins. I'm calling in support of Mr. Harris. I have worked personally with him on different committees and boards where he is actively working against the disproportionalities rates of Black children and children in general. But particularly, I have worked with him fighting against the disproportionality rates of Black girls being suspended within this school district. He has come against police and school to really put community partners in place to address the issues so that we don't have to have further policing of our children. I love the fact that he is so involved in the community. I see him at every event that I'm at. He's at different partner meetings. He's on different boards and different committees, really fighting for the best for our children. And I am appalled that it was not announced earlier that there's going to be a vote on whether he should stay in this district. I think that we should have been informed sooner so that we could really throw our support behind Mr. Harris. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Moon?
Good evening. My name is Grace Moon. I am a student at the high school, and I was a September student. Both of my sisters go to school in the district, and my mother. I am here tonight because I have some concerns about the things that have been being said. I would like to note that many of the people who have spoken tonight on behalf of Mr. Harris are not active students or parents or teachers within our community. And I think it is very important that we listen to those people because those are the people that directly are affected by the consequences of Mr. Harris's actions. I would like to say that many of the things that Mr. Harris has been doing, many people have heard, many people have seen, many people know about, and not many people will speak on, whether because they don't want to or they're afraid to. Mr. Harris has consistently lied to us, to the media, to our parents, to our students, to our teachers. Our teachers are tired of it, our students are tired of it, our parents are most definitely tired of it. And he has done things like call my fellow classmates predators, which in no way do I think is okay. No one should be called a predator in their own school with their friends. He has actively gone against the things that he came to this district to stand for. He went back at his last meeting and was like, oh, maybe police are okay. We had a constable at the school for a week and a half. Many of the people tonight have noted that he is here to do good things and to get the police out of schools. That's not what I'm hearing. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to address the board?
Hello, my name is Audra Hamlet. My daughter attends the high school. She's a 10th grader. I don't know how to put this politely. Mr. Harris, you may not remember me. Remember Mr. Burnhammer from the intermediate? Do you remember my daughter and how you made her feel? Because I do. I most certainly do. When I saw the list of your supporters, why I had to go to the police myself instead of the school district going to the police became very clear. I have informed some of the people on the board what exactly happened, because I'll never put my child out there again. I keep hearing the support for the Black children. If y'all don't notice, I'm Black. My daughter is Black. She did not have any support. She was made to feel like she was a liar. And that hurt me very deeply. So when I say I have no support for you as a Black woman with a Black child, a Black girl child at that, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. This has been a long time coming. Everyone wants to act like this is the past 2 months. This isn't about 2 months. Stuff is starting to come out. And I really don't need to know everything that's going to come out, but I'm sure it will. But my situation, you made my daughter feel dirty, uncared for, and like she was a liar. And I'm glad that this is happening. I mean that, because for the past 3 years, I've done my mother's prayer. And I hope that one day you can feel how you made my child feel. I had to get that girl therapy to make her okay. And finally, she's a 4.0 student again because of you. That wasn't me. I literally asked her, did I make you feel like I didn't do enough in the situation? You know what she told me? No, it was the superintendent who gave me dirty looks when I went to go speak to him. That the principal did want to do something about it, but you stopped him from doing something about it. I had to go to the police myself. And you may not remember that because I'm sure you've done enough for the district, as everyone keeps saying. But trust me, my prayer is that you feel the way you made my child feel.
Thank you, Ms. Hamlet. Darnika Reed.
Hi, Darnika Reed, 134 Leniki Street, Wilkins Township. In regards to the decision to terminate the superintendent, I'll only say one thing. I'm the school board director-elect. I do not agree with the board making this decision today because we will have new board members, including myself, sworn in December 6th. I don't understand why this needs to be rushed. And that's all I'm going to add to this. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Reed. Lenore Wasidlo.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I would like to offer my support for Superintendent Harris.
I'm sorry, your affiliation with the district, please?
Oh, yes. Lenore Wasidlo, former crossing guard, lifelong resident of Swissvale, taxpayer and voter. Living in Swissvale and through the merger, I've seen many superintendents come and go. My first experience with Superintendent Harris was shortly after he was chosen. I had emailed him 10 p.m. one evening about an issue that I was having with a student at my crossing guard corner. I retired back in August from crossing guard for health issues. The next morning, he shows up at my corner so I could talk to him and I could show him the student. Why I did that is because I could see potential in this student. I just knew he needed to get some extra help, or maybe his family needed help. But Superintendent Harris was there the next morning. And eventually this kid turned himself around. And I don't think it would have happened without involvement from the school district, in particular, Superintendent Harris. Yes, I did call it to his attention, but he did take it and did something about it. The other main issue I have with this whole thing is all of a sudden, this is brought up suddenly by 3 board members who I understand this is going to be their last board meeting. This wasn't mentioned last week at the meeting. Where's the transparency? Where's the truth about what is going on? I am a taxpayer and I do vote. And I will remember this when I'm voting for school board members. Be transparent so that I myself don't have to hear, oh, you live in Woodland Hills School District. And I was one of the parents who took my younger son out of Woodland Hills with a couple earlier administrations and moved him to a charter school. I don't want to see parents taking their kids out of the school district again because of what's going on. Be transparent. Let us hear the truth. And I really hope you do the right thing.
Thank you. Bridget Creech?
I just wrote that.
No.
Good evening. Hello.
Good evening.
Hi, my name is Bridget Creech. I am a resident of East Pittsburgh and a school board elect. As Darnika, I echo those sentiments. And what I will say is it is very concerning to me to hear all the comments and really look at how strongly divided our community is, our district. And I mean, I'm not sure concerning our current board, but I think that really, if nothing else, deserved an extreme pause to look and hear so many through their own eyes and their experiences as extreme as they are. It really shows the need for us to come together as a community to listen, to speak, but to reason together. And it would behoove us to take a moment and recognize that, to acknowledge everyone who's been involved in the process of the things that have happened over the years. I recognize and acknowledge that it wasn't just Mr. Harris that made so many things happen, but where we are now, I'm really concerned that from the moment his contract was renewed till now, how can we communicate within the confines that you all are able to, and being transparent, what could have happened to cause this turnaround to happen in that manner. So anything previous to the renewal of the contract, I don't think that we can focus on, but because that contract was renewed, it's important for us to understand, why we're where we are during this time of year for everyone, and to be able to communicate that in a way that can help us to really move forward and work together in this manner. That's all I'll say right now. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who wishes to address the board?
Good evening. I'm Carlton Scott. I am a father of a child at Turtle Creek STEAM and a school board elect. I just wanted to echo some of the things that have been said. I think that what we're hearing today speaks to definite communication that needs to happen in the future amongst all of us stakeholders. I think that there is, I want to speak to the process. I think that I would encourage the board to table such a motion until the new session can come in. I think that I respect the information that the board has that might have led to this being on the agenda. And I would hope that when we go into our new session, we have the ability to communicate with everyone why it is that we might make a decision like this. I think that we can make this decision in the future, should the new session feel that this information warrants that to happen. So I just would like to express that. Thank you.
Thank you. Sure.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Louis Berry Rankin. I'm a taxpayer and community advocate. As you know, I know most of you. I'm even responsible indirectly for some of you sitting there today. I consider a lot of you friends, but I would be remiss if I didn't speak of my relationship with Mr. Harris. I mean, every time that I reached out to Mr. Harris if I needed a place to hold a meeting, a community meeting, he always unceremoniously accommodated whatever I needed. I mean, I was here during the last administration, and that really wasn't the case. And some of you probably know what I wanted most for this district was to get rid of the police and to stop the abuse of students. And for the most part, I'm satisfied that that happened under Mr. Harris's watch. I'm trying to pretty much stay neutral here, but I would be remiss if I didn't speak of the positive things that interactions I had with Mr. Harris. And I think that this vote should wait a while and get a little bit more community involvement. That's it.
Thank you. Mark Harris.
Hi, thank you. I am not in this district, but I heard that the superintendent did a very good job with a terrible ransomware attack that happened about a year ago, and that he deserves a lot of credit for getting the school out of that mess. And that alone, should count for a lot in his favor.
Is there anyone else who wishes to address the board? I'm sorry, can you speak up?
Deary Young Lundy. I'm not a resident of the district, but I own 4 properties in the district I pay taxes for. My daughter went to Woodland Hills, 2 grandsons, Woodland Hills. I have a granddaughter that's in Edgewood right now. My concern with what's happening now is, why is it happening so fast? And why are the 3 board members advocating for it to happen so fast if you're not going to be here? And where's the transition for taking someone out and putting someone in? There's no transition. It's just a drop over the hill, and whoever comes up is the next person in place. So my question to the board is, how are you going to transition someone else in with the kids in the state that they are in now, with someone that doesn't know the district, unless you have already thought about someone that's in the district or that knows the district to take Mr. Harris's place. Because I've been in the district a long time. Johnson, the one before him. I filed an administrator misconduct complaint with Harrisburg, with the state, on Mr. Johnson for expelling a student without the right. But you guys voted Mr. Johnson in. You guys were, Mr. Johnson was the everything. Mr. Johnson failed at a lot of things in Woodland Hills. So I say that to say everyone trips and falls and everyone gets back up. If something has happened in the district where you feel like Mr. Harris has tripped and fallen, he certainly has stood up, not just got up, but stood up and raised up a lot of things that were not going so well in the district when you brought him in. Football coaches before you brought him in, your teacher and your football coach that I won't mention before you brought him in. No discipline was done. People were just rearranged. And that's something that you, the board, and I know how long some of you on the board have been here. You just rearrange things. You play chess with people and with the district. You don't inform the parents of what's going on. Like this should be full of parents. The parents weren't made aware. No one went on the news and said 2 weeks ago that this would be happening today, because you, the board, just voted for a new contract. So what has occurred between the vote for the new contract and the vote to fire? So to me, that doesn't show, that shows that you, the board, some of you board members are incompetent and not the superintendent, because you voted him in. You gave him a new contract. Now, what are you gonna do? You're gonna pay him to leave? So when does it end? It just shifts and goes, shifts and moves. And for the 3 board members that are leaving, how do you even get to vote on whether he stays or not? Why is it so important to do it now when you're gone? Because when you're gone, whatever you think doesn't matter. Whatever you've done or should have done no longer matters because you're no longer here. So I think that if you're gonna vote on it, that you wait until the new board members come in, because if you don't vote him out, the new board members are here to make sure everything goes the way it should. You guys won't be here.
Thank you. Annie Moon?
Good evening. My name is Annie Moon. I have children at the high school, Dixon and Turtle Creek, and I live in Chalfont. I just want to make sure we give credit where credit's due, because it seems like a lot of credit is being given to Mr. Harris for the things that have happened in the district. First of all, I need to thank the board because they were the ones that decided that we needed to get the police out of schools. They were the ones that decided that we needed to make sure that our children were not being abused when they came to school. So it started with them. And I think we need to look at that and remember that they are volunteers and they're giving their time. And so I thank them for that. Second, I need to say that Dr. Woods brought a lot of change to our district, a lot of change that Mr. Harris is getting credit for. And so we need to say thank you to Dr. Woods because he was the face of what was happening in our district. And third, we need to thank Eddie Wilson because he is the reason that our children are achieving at a higher level. He has made changes to the curriculum. He has made sure that children are getting what they need. I am thrilled that Black children in this district are making gains, and it is because of him. And it is also because of our teachers. I thank you all. I hope you will vote for their contract tonight, but I hope that we're giving credit where credit's due, because Mr. Harris is getting a lot of credit for things that he did not do.
Thank you. I can't read the name of it. Okay, we have DA. We'll need you to give your full name and affiliation with the district, please.
My name is Deasia Austin. I'm a student of the district. I'm a part of the Turtle Creek community. And I just came on here to say that I feel as though the district's divided as and like, I feel as though it seems like the school board is against the superintendent and he has no one else like to lean on. So just like, basically some people's on the side, some people isn't. And he has nowhere to look, and it's just confusing for him all. And I feel as though he needs a team he can work with to put us all together, because one person can't fix 1,000 or more kids. He's been a role model for me. He helps a lot in like some schools, in some of the schools where I go to the high school. And I feel as though that as like one whole district, we are just undivided. And we all need to come together and just be on one page. If like he had someone in there to help him, or if he had better talk with the board, because I don't.
Sorry, you muted there and you still have some time. So if you want to unmute.
So he can't really do his job the way he wants to do if it seems like the people who's telling him to do it is against him. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Anyone else who wishes to address the board? Please.
Hi, my name is Dakisha Ruffner. I have 7 children that go to Woodland Hills. There is 5 in the high school, 1 in Dixon, and 1 in Turtle Creek. The high school, it's just, it was before Mr. Harris even got here. That place is just a whole wreck. But there's abandonment issues going on with these children because they go from one principal to the next principal and they like Dr. Woods. Now Dr. Woods is gone and it's like, y'all just kind of ship everybody out that these kids are getting to know, getting to like, getting used to. Dr. Harris, all my children like Dr. Harris because nobody else wants to be bothered with them. So I don't see what the big problem is there. Why y'all want to take somebody that wants to be involved with the children away from them? They already got enough abandonment issues. They got enough trauma. All their friends are dying. Like it's just too much. And the only role model that they actually look up to now, y'all trying to get rid of them. And I had to go on Facebook to see that y'all were doing this vote. How nice is that? And I'm a parent. My kid's been in the district for almost 12 years. Like, I don't get it. But I like Dr. Harris. And I don't think it's right what y'all doing. That's all I got to say.
Jennifer's iPhone. We'll need you to give your full name, please.
Hi, Jennifer Myers.
Okay. You can go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think you may be breaking up a little bit, but yes. Ms. Myers? Okay, I think we're having some trouble.
Okay, there it is. Sorry.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Hi, I'm an alumni, also a district resident taxpayer, and I have a son in the high school. I wanted to say, first of all, that I was really disappointed to find out about this meeting and this vote
via the 11 o'clock news last night, where there was no time to get any information other than what they said. And it was very, very vague. And also just to kind of piggyback on what the other parents were saying about the role models. My son and I are both very big fans of Mr. Harris. I think he really does a fabulous job getting in there with the students and talking with the students, bonding with the students. And I think we do need more of that. We had that with Principal Woods as well, as the previous parent just stated, to lose that. And then to have, another male in a position at the school where our kids feel comfortable, if they have issues, to go to find out that, just so abruptly that he's could be being voted out. It's just upsetting. So we just wanted to let Mr. Harris know that we're
I think we've lost you again. I apologize.
Oh, you're back now. That's
There you
fine.
are.
I was finished anyway.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Anyone else who wishes to address the board? Good evening.
Hey, my name is Nunu Gibson. I won't be long at all. I just want to say, as a new parent, it perplexes me that y'all are acting like y'all have no idea why this man needs to go. First of all, he called our children predators. Now, whether it was your child that he was referring to specifically, the fact that he was comfortable enough to say it and be recorded saying it, and then to double, triple, cartwheel and split down on it. Again, that's crazy to me. I've probably been in the parent group on Facebook for a couple months, just a couple months. I've heard about his affairs with parents and personnel.
I need to stop you. We can't talk about, you can't disparage him personally. I appreciate I appreciate that you want to speak. You can't disparage
It's
him
crazy to me that y'all could sit up here and get up here and act like y'all actually even took the time out to look and see while this is happening. I don't even think there needs to be a vote. I think he needs kicked out on his ass.
Anyone else who wishes to address the board? Okay, seeing no further public comment, we'll move back to the agenda. Okay. So that moves us to
Can I
board.
make a motion to move 17.2 to the beginning?
Okay, I have a motion to move 17.2 for consideration at this time.
Second.
The second from Mr. Belmont. All in favor of moving this item up?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion 17.2. I will read. This is a motion to terminate without cause the agreement for the superintendent, including the amendment to such an agreement for James P. Harris as superintendent of the Woodland Hills School District, which will be effective December 17th, 2021. Is there a motion?
So move. Second.
I've got a motion by Mr. Belmont, a second by Ms. Lawson. Questions or discussion from the board on this item? Okay. Seeing none, Ms. Hawthorne will take the vote. Is Mr. Patterson still on the call? Okay.
I vote no.
Okay. Motion carries by a vote of 8-1. That moves us back to board matters. Board matters under two.
No, come on now.
I'm sorry. We need to keep order, please. Thank you. Okay. Under board matters, we have item 2.1, which is a motion to approve all items on the agenda by consent. Is there a motion?
Second.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Ms. Seligson. This is a motion to consider by consent. Is there any item that the board wishes to remove from the consent agenda? We should remove 2.2 for separate consideration.
17.1.
17.1 is new business, so that won't be in the consent agenda. I would also okay.
Oh,
2.
what's the Wilkin Giza agreement?
10.8 will be removed. So we can consider that. Anyone else have items that they wish to remove from the consent agenda? Okay, hearing none, we'll take the vote on the consent item. And this will approve all items on the agenda with the exception of 2.2 and 10.8.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Patterson?
Mr. Wilson, Mr. Patterson still on the call? Mr. Patterson, do you have a vote on the item? Okay. We'll note that Mr. Patterson left the meeting at 8:40, please.
Okay.
Motion carries by a vote of 8-0. That moves us to 2.2. 2.2 is a motion to approve the resolution 561.21, authorizing participation in an appointment of Mr. Harris as the primary representative and Val Shaver as the alternate representative to the Allegheny Intermediate Unit Joint Purchasing Program for the 2021-2022 school year. Mr. Vogel, do you have a recommendation on this?
You can either table this for next month, or what you can also do is if there's someone else you want to make as the primary representative, you can do that, or you can have Ms. Schaefer just be the primary representative and have no alternate representative.
Ms. Shaver, would you be willing to do that?
I think the only problem might happen is because it's so late in the year, and if my position is filled by next year. Do you know?
Okay, so we need someone else. Is it better that we table
I
this?
would think let's table it.
Okay.
And make a decision on who would be the primary.
Very good. Is there a motion to table 2.2?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. 2.2 is tabled. That will need to be considered next month. Okay, that moves us to 10.8. 10.8 is approval of amendment number 10 to the guaranteed energy savings agreement that was entered into by the Woodland Hills School District and Reynolds Energy Service, doing business as SiteLogic Energy Service. The total cost of amendment 10 is $374,738. And the total revised contract sum is $48,653,275 from Fund 39. It's important to note that this is not a new $48 million indebtedness to the district. This is an amendment that would cost the $374,738 were we to approve it. Is there a motion? Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions or discussion on this motion?
Yeah, can we talk about this? This
Yes.
Is related to the overheating issues at Wilkins School, right?
That is
So
correct.
my understanding was that they were going to be addressing both the rooftop units and the windows, but that we could break those out into two separate jobs, correct?
That is my understanding. I don't have a cost breakdown on that, however.
Yeah, I'm curious about what that would be. Is someone from SiteLogic on the call
I
tonight?
don't know that we have that. Mr. Wilson, do we have, he is not.
No.
Mike Arnold. Probably.
Mike Arnold or it'll probably be Mike. Okay.
Pete.
Yeah, I don't, is Pete Zemansky on? Didn't think so. Okay. All right.
I just want to make it clear, like, I'm all for addressing the issues with those classrooms overheating. We cannot have young scholars in classrooms that are that warm. But I also, you know, when we're talking about fiscal responsibility, this is a small amount of money
right.
that we're talking about here. So I'd really like to get some buy-in from the experts, from those engineers about how this can be broken out and what their expert opinion is on, if we were to break it out, which to try first.
Yeah, so
And
it
what that
is,
would cost.
it is broken out in the tab, in the attachment. If you're on page 6 in Schedule B, costs and cash flow.
Thank you.
Yes, so it breaks out the new VRF system, which is the ventilation, is $241,248. The new glass is $133,490. Dan, yes, Dan is on. That's great. Thank you, Dan.
Hey, I apologize. I was trying to unmute this entire time, and I was unallowed to. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we sure
Great.
can.
Thank you for your time. Yes, I developed that project with Mike Arnold, and so I can answer the questions that you're posing.
Thank
So
you.
the VRF system is associated with the 13 classrooms to actually address the load in the space after it occurs through the windows or maybe through the load in the people. But the windows would be a good starting point, at least, to try to address the load. But both of them should relieve the issues in the spaces. Does that
Okay.
help?
Thank you. Yes, I believe Mr. Finney. Yes, it does. Thank you very much, Mr. Nadolny. Mr. Finney.
Yes, I just want to make sure everybody understands, this has nothing to do with our rooftop units that need to be replaced that are over 20 years old. So that's going to be an extra cost to us replacing those units. This is something totally different.
But that's a separate project we have not yet bid, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so we don't have costs on that yet. Okay.
Any thoughts on if new rooftop units will alleviate the problem?
The rooftop units won't solve the problem that we got with what we got going on for those classrooms. But the building itself needs rooftop units because they're over 22 years old.
Okay, I just want to duplicate our.
All right.
Right, but we still need, so it's two separate projects. We need to address both things.
Correct.
Thank you. Okay.
Can I make a comment?
Absolutely.
I think too, like I know, when I last spoke to Mike Arnold, his concern was everything's on back order and that sort of thing, that the cost could possibly go up.
Mhm.
I'm not going to say substantially, but we don't know what's going to happen with the market. I'm planning to work with Mr. Wilson. I mentioned it last week to see if we could get one of the PCCD grants to cover a portion. Looks like we might have 70,000 of that for that. And I think too, just because it has to do with air quality, I think one of our ESSERS funds could probably cover the difference if we don't have enough in capital projects to perhaps supplement it. But I think it's something that does need done. The air conditioners that are there now, that the two that left, this will be eat up like almost $1,700 a month. So if we're going to like Band-Aid the problem until we make that decision, we're sucking funds out of what we could be possibly even setting aside. So I just wanted to make a comment on that one and kind of.
Yes, Mr. Nadolny.
Oh, no, I just was, it was just a comment to further that. Yeah, I believe the schedule would be driven, if we make the decision now, it only helps with the ordering of any equipment, as well as the material for the windows. So just to reiterate that.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay. All right, any further discussion? Okay. All right. Seeing none, we'll take the vote on the tab as written.
Okay, it has to be a voice.
That's fine. That's fine.
Mr. Grace,
Yes.
Mrs. Seligson. Yes. Ms. Scott.
Yes.
Ms. Lawson.
Yes.
Mrs. Curry.
Yes.
Dr. Hildebrand.
Yes.
Mr. Belmont.
Yes.
Ms. Glasser.
Yes. Motion carries unanimously.
He left the meeting. Mhm.
Mr. Wilson, Mr. Vogel has a question for you.
Yeah, is Mr. Ditka still on the line?
Yes, he is.
Could you ask him, we had just passed the resolution to authorize refinancing the 2018 general obligations bonds. Does he need a specific vote on that, or the fact that it went by as part of the consent motion is fine?
It's just on you. We can do that.
Okay.
Good evening, Mr. Ditka.
Good evening. How are you all?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. We need to have a discernible vote so we can tell how each person voted. Typically, that's done by roll call, but I believe as I was listening, it sounded like it was an 8-0 vote with one member being absent. I think we could properly record that, Mr. Vogel.
Okay, fine. I just wanted to make sure his bond counsel, it met there. So it'll reflect on the certificate that 8 of the board members voted affirmatively and 1 was absent.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ditka.
You're
That is
welcome.
an accurate vote tally, yeah. Okay. Okay, that moves us to new business. I'm sorry, that moves us to old business. Is there any old business? Yes.
Yes.
So, Ms. Hawthorne, remind me of the old business.
Mr. Belmont has it
Yes.
in front of him.
Do
I
you
sat
have
it
the
in
old
front of-
business? We have a tab that was incorrectly stated a couple of months ago regarding a special ed cost. It was an hourly cost that was incorrect
I
on
think
the
it was
tab.
4.4.
Correct in the contract,
Oh.
incorrect in the tab. So that was in special ed. Which month was that?
October.
Not
October.
sure.
Mhm.
So that was in the October meeting. We had it was listed on the tab as $51, but in the contract as $50.
Correct.
We just need to correct that for the record. So can I have a motion to correct that tab? Okay.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Lawson, second by Ms. Scott. Any questions or discussion on that? I recognize this is a little bit out of the blue for everybody, but. Okay, hearing no questions, Ms. Hawthorne, will you take the vote?
Yes. Mr. Graves,
Yes.
Ms. Featherston, Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Lawson,
Yes.
Mrs. Curry,
Yes.
Dr. Hildebrand.
Yes.
Mr. Belmont,
Yes.
Ms. Glasser.
Yes. Thank you. And now we move to new business, where we will consider item 17.1, which is approval of the collective bargaining agreement negotiated between the Woodland Hills School District and the Woodland Hills Educational Association.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Belmont,
Second.
second by Ms. Scott. I will note for the record that this agreement was ratified by the members of the WHEA this afternoon. And so we are proper in our order to approve it now. Questions or discussion on the contract? Mr. Belmont.
Jamie, I want to thank you for your leadership through the entire negotiation process, keeping everybody informed and keeping track of the details.
I appreciate that. I also want to thank
I
the,
concur.
thank you. Thank you, Mr. Grid. I also want to thank the members of the WEA negotiating team who were diligent in their efforts to represent their members and participated in good faith with us throughout a long process that took a great deal of time and energy for all of us. So thank you to that. And thank you to the members of the administrative team who participated in that process as well. Particularly Ms. Boyd and Ms. Shaver, who put in a lot of time and effort. Mr. Harris put in a lot of time and effort as well. So we want to acknowledge that as well.
Just as a point of information on the, you have, it's a ratification document. It is a red line document. What will happen is there'll be a final clean document that will reflect the exact terms that'll be circulated very shortly. So.
Can I ask a question of salaries? So since the teachers have been working under the old contract, are their salaries going to be retro?
It is retroactive.
Yes.
Retroactive.
It
Just
is
want to make sure about that. Okay.
Yes.
And how will that, well, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
Good. Okay.
They're working on it.
Val's team has it well under control. We have
Yeah.
every confidence in the payroll team to get that situated as quickly
Okay,
as possible. So. Any other questions?
I guess I will just make one comment in that in the salary scale, I feel sorry for the teachers in the middle of the scale because the money that was put into the salary schedule is at the top and the bottom, which is great for the recruiting new teachers. I think that's really important. But I, feel bad for those teachers in the middle who aren't seeing that increase.
Anyone else have comments? Okay. Hearing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. Okay, that moves us to reports. We had reports from our student representative and from the board last week. Although if Mr. Howes has anything to add to his report last week, I'd be happy to hear it.
Not much from the report, as you know, it's just been a week. Not much has changed other than obviously the elephant in the room. And if I were to make a comment about that, I'm just worried for the future because obviously as a community has displayed, they've been 50-50. So I'm just worried about how the community reacts, how the students may react, since a lot of change is still going to happen. But I guess this is have to wait and see.
Thank you for that. Okay. Reminder that we will have committee meetings that will be for the October sessions, but they will be held on November 30th and December 1st. If my math is correct on the dates. We'll look forward to seeing everyone there. We've already had public comment. So that moves us to section 20, which is, I'm sorry, Ms. Messina?
Save this until last. My name is Marilyn Messina, 1401 Walnut Street, Edgewood. I wanted to thank the people that are leaving for their service to the community. I know what it is like to be a board member. I was on this board for 28 years. It's very difficult, the decisions you have to make. And as I said, I heard people's comments. You did it graciously. I don't think anyone grows up and when they're asked younger, what would you like to be? And they say a school director. So for the people that are here, I know that you will continue to train and be, listen to the people that in the community. And for the new people that are coming on, there is a transition, but there is training. You need to ask for help. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. It shows that you're really strong. You can evaluate yourself and you can do it. And you will do it. You just need to be self-confident. And, there will be people around. I've been a resident of this community for 38 years. I was a teacher for 30 years. I also applaud you for supporting the teachers. It's been very, very difficult. But again, for the ones that are leaving, I thank you for your service. For the ones that are staying, I thank you for your perseverance and just don't give up. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Messina. Tyler McWiggin.
Hello, I just wanted to see if item 15.1 was included in the vote to approve the agenda items by consent.
Yes.
It was.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for all your work, everyone. Thank you.
Okay. All right, unless there's other public comment, we'll move to section 20, which is permission to adjourn the September 17th, 2021 legislative meeting.
I'd like to say something before we go.
Sorry?
I'd like to say something for public comment.
Absolutely.
Thank you all for your service. I'm proud to serve here with you all. This has been a heavy lift, 5 years for me. And I look forward to helping to continue to serve with the community, with you all until the future. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's a hard night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You all.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you all. With that, is there a motion to adjourn?
The move.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you all.
Giving these updates and threatening to shut me out.